Get into. Got it. Let's go.
Oh.
Hello. We are live, Lisa.
Hi, Sean. Good to see you. Okay, happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday, April 14th. I can't believe it's already April.
Yeah.
I'm here with Sean from OIT. I'm super excited to talk to Sean today. As a lot of you know, my background actually is in voice over IP. So I have known and worked with a lot of the providers in the industry for quite some time. But Sean here, they have a really great partner program. So I'm excited to talk about that with you today. Thanks for being on with us today, Sean.
Hey, you know what, Lisa? Thank you. Thank you for having me. Don't mind my busyness behind me. I'm at the airport. Get ready to fly to Mexico soon.
Ooh, what part of Mexico are we going to?
The Riviera Maya.
Ooh.
Yes. I just needed a vacation, so I had to hurry up and get to the airport early so I could take this because you're so important to me that I had to come here and take the call. I had to. Yes.
Well, Riviera Maya is a good choice. That's me and my husband's favorite place to go in Mexico because it's so tropical. So good choice.
I'm leaving Pittsburgh right now, so of course we're going from apples to oranges, and I decided to order a Dos Equis because I'm getting myself in the moment.
There you go. So, Sean, I know we have a special guest on with us today.
We do.
Introduce him.
Yeah, I would love to introduce a good friend of mine now. One of our white label partners, actually. And you'll see how excitable he is. He has really good hair. Trevor Connolly.
Hello.
Hi,
Why'd you take your hat off there, Sean?
What hat?
Exactly.
What?
See? There you go.
I shined it up just for this.
Oh my gosh.
That's good stuff.
Bald is beautiful.
Bald is actually.
Lisa's actually bald too, but she's got
great wigs, guys.
Thank you for that.
So, Trevor, tell us a little bit about your partnership with OIT and how that came to be and how it's kind of evolved with Sean.
Yeah, so I've been doing VoIP. We've been doing VoIP for a while, and we were on Netsapiens platform with a different provider. So that's what OIT runs on. And the provider we were with was pretty good for a while. Didn't really have any complaints. Everything was working fine. But there were some features, particularly Snap Mobile, which is the mobile soft phone. It's the web phone. They didn't have it. So, I kept looking. I'm like, why doesn't my provider have this? So we kept looking. I kept looking around, and I found a Reddit thread, and somebody mentioned OIT and some other providers that kind of run on the same system. So I started doing my research, and I talked to Sean, and Sean kind of gave me the lowdown on why the provider I have doesn't have the Snap solution. It was basically they kind of customized it, and they couldn't provide the new software because they're on older versions. And so, with that, I did a demo. I actually did a demo with OIT and a couple other ones. And the big thing with OIT is they're MSP focused. So, a lot of the other ones, you kind of get that corporate feel. You put a ticket in, you get tier 1 support. You have to go through the hoops before you can actually get somebody that knows what they're talking about. Because most of the time as an MSP, when you put a ticket in, it's not a reboot your phone or, checking something. It's something you need help with. So with OIT, and what I always do is once I start demoing, I put in support tickets and I see how long it takes for them to come back to me. Can I understand the person? Is it making sense? So with OIT, it was instant. They called me. I was shocked that somebody actually called me. So yeah, they called me, and then I didn't answer, and they're like, "We tried calling you," and I'm like, "Oh my God, that was you!" I didn't know vendors called anymore. So
and to be clear, when Trevor says he submits tickets, he really does submit a lot of tickets, a lot. I know I'm a princess and I'm high maintenance. I know this.
Right. Well, I like to do some custom stuff, so I'll put in tickets. But yeah, I mean, basically they answered right away and they were knowledgeable. And when I started talking to Sean, he started showing me some of the partner stuff, and they have all the branding material. They just have everything figured out, where I kind of had my own system where, I had my own PowerPoint. I'm not going to show you because it's garbage compared to Sean's. And they just had everything that I needed as far as MSP. So, the selling part is usually the hardest, because I think most people, once you get into VoIP, you find out it's not really phones anymore. It's technology. It's computers and stuff. So if you're a computer if you're a MSP, once you start playing with VoIP, you're like, I don't need a phone guy. This is easy. So
Right.
Most of it was sales. How am I selling? What am I pricing? What are you offering? So it was that piece. So that's where I picked OIT, because the other ones were, here's your system. This is what it costs. Good luck.
And I really like to point out that, that they are a channel focused or channel only type company,
Yep.
which, a lot of people don't put enough weight on, because that means that 100% of their support goes to you guys, the partner. They're not delegating partner, client, vendor, whatever it might be. They're strictly devoted to you guys. So I feel that's a really strong thing to point out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I would agree completely. It's even stronger the fact that it's funny Trevor mentioned PowerPoints, because like even when I gave him my PowerPoint, he was emailing
It wasn't
me
good enough.
He was like, "Yo, dude, what do I say about this slide?" I was like, "Checking the notes. We already wrote the notes out." He's like, "Oh, I didn't put it in presentation mode, dude. Try it." He's like, "Oh, okay, thank you."
That's a perfect example, though, where I'm talking about MSP, because with the other providers, they're not going to do that. I'm not going to be able to talk to a sale. Like, they're not going to get back to me. They don't even have it to begin with, but they won't. They just don't offer that stuff, and you can't talk to people.
Right.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Another thing that you mentioned that I kind of want to go down that path a little bit is the difference between just a partner program and how you kind of evolved over into becoming a white label partner.
Right.
I would love for you to kind of talk about the difference and what that looks like for MSPs and the value that white label can have.
That's a great question. Trevor, if you want to talk about it.
I think it's for you, because I was never a partner. I go white label from the get-go.
Well, yeah, you were a white label, but I think the better message would be, the better conversation would be around even why does MSP accept selling VoIP? Why do they start doing it? And why would they choose? And Trevor, as well as anybody else here, there's a big difference as to channel partner and a white label partner. Channel partner is and it's a failing. Every one of our MSPs that say, well, we don't want to go white label, it's usually for a few reasons. One is, I don't want the responsibilities, because they don't even know what those are even. So it becomes an education thing. Like, let's talk about what those responsibilities really consist of.
Yeah.
The other is, and along the responsibilities comes, I don't want to be tier 1 support. If you're a good MSP, you already are tier 1 support for everything. Anything technology, they call you first anyway. So you're already that. 2 is the billing and taxation is the biggest hurdle for every single person. And once you address those and educate them on that and show the path to doing it, it then just becomes, do you have enough business to justify taking the jump? That's really it. And Trevor, like he said, he came in as a white label because he already had the business. He already knew what he was doing. The only difference we had to do was make sure we gave him a smooth transition into our processes. And our processes are very, very fine-tuned. So
now I did start channel with with my different provider when I first started doing VoIP. And basically how I got into it was, I'm sure every MSP can relate to this. I would get calls from the phone guys. We need to reboot the firewall, or there's a network issue, or whenever there was a phone issue, it was always my issue. It was something with a network. It was never anything they needed to do. Or if it was, hey, can you factory reset the phone for us? And we're going to push the config again. So after that, a couple times, I actually got into, I think it was a core dial system, which is another provider, which I do not recommend. I got into core dial, because the phone guys, they would charge, you know, $125 to come over and reset up a phone. So we got access to it. And once I got in there, I was like, this is just a program. All this is a program, and adding an IP address to the phone. And whenever there's issues, it's just factory reset. So that started me down the path. And I actually started with Cordial. It was kind of a partner program where, you know, you got a little, I mean, you made a little bit of money, and, you know, they would kind of do their support. But with my MSP business, I handle everything for my client. So if my client has a printer issue, they come through me and I'll contact the printer. If they have an internet issue, they call me and I call the ISP. So this is the same thing with the phones. So I was just calling Nextiva or Cordial. Nextiva is another one I don't recommend. So after a while, I finally just kept looking at it, and I started with this other provider, and I realized how easy it was. It's the easiest thing I sell. VoIP, you set it up and you forget it. The margin is insane, and the support there's no support. It's basically you set up a phone and it works, and then they never call you again, and you just make money. Like I'm not like making this up. It's literally like, how many times does your VoIP phone do you have to, you know, do something with? So it's once you set up and design the system, if there's ever any issues, it's usually a network issue, which you're already supporting.
Sure.
So, you know, usually, I mean, if your network's good, you don't have any issues. And then anything, whenever there's a phone issue, it's basically factory reset it, and it's going to pull all your configuration down as long as you use the correct phones and you set them up correctly.
Right.
So that was basically how I got into VoIP. But then, you know, I learned about white label programs from some other, I think, services I was doing. And then I got into the white label, and I found out I could make a bunch more money. So, I mean, you know, once I found out how much money I can make with it, I push VoIP more than my MSP stuff. Like, I have sales guys that work for me, and they are using VoIP more often now, because a lot of times it's, you know, it used to be kind of like you get in with the MSP, and then you like would kind of transition to phone. What are you using for phones? Well, now it's kind of like you get with phones, and then you can, you know, so you can kind of work both angles. And the, like I said, the VoIP is it's easy. It's easy to sell, because as soon as you show them the system, you do a demo, you show the web phone. I mean, you can, like, I have a demo account where I set it up and I have some extensions, and I will, when I'm doing a demo, I will say, okay, go here, download this app, put in this username, password, and make a phone call.
Well, you're gonna show that, right? You're gonna show that, aren't you, today?
I can. Yeah, sure. I can show you a demo. Yeah,
absolutely.
The thing I like that you pointed out was money, right?
Right. Oh, it's it's huge.
And I hear a lot of MSPs that tell me, well, I had to start doing phones because my clients started asking me, and I don't want them to go somewhere else. But they have the mindset of, I'm just going to let someone else handle that for me. I'll make my 25, 30, whatever dollars a month off that, but I don't have to touch it. Right. Versus you being essentially the one throat to choke, but that also gives you much more control, right? Yeah. Over the money that you're able to pad on, the margin, right? As it does roll into everything else that you're working on.
And you also, like, as an MSP, you never want other like vendors coming into your clients. So when they start looking at VoIP and phone providers, you know, they come in and they, all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, I can do this. No, I'll handle it. And then, you know, a lot of VoIP, they're offering MSP now. It's just like copier guys. Like all of a sudden copier guys are, you know, oh, we do networks. And you're like, get out of here. Like, don't printers are my next one. I'm going to have to like take over printers because they're trying to steal my clients now.
Don't go there, because Ray already gets. We've seen a lot of copier companies coming our way now, because you're right.
They are.
Ray's like, oh my goodness, here comes a new surge. I'm like, yeah, it's coming.
They're not making enough money, so they have to, you know, get into their business now.
Exactly. I mean, we're past the days of rolling the copier through the door and being, look how great this is.
Right. Here's your maintenance plan, and here's how much your color paper and everything. But they do. Can you turn off color printing? Sure.
I do want to, but you know, one thing that all these things have in mind is there's migration, right? You have to evolve to the current climate. That's why copier companies are doing this. So, and even you, Trevor, you're a great testament to channel partner.
Right.
Okay, channel partner making money, add on VoIP because people were MSPs and VoIP companies alike were stealing your business because either you're not holistic or you're just not providing what you need again, and it's another line of revenue. And actually with us, one of our strongest takeaways for us even is speaking of migration, is being able to migrate from channel partner to white label. A lot of our partners, they come in from day one instead of going core out route and anybody else and then coming to us. They come to us as a channel partner because they're testing the waters.
Right.
They have an opportunity. They can make some extra money. They're like, hey, I'm going to throw this in there. I'm going to offer this, see what happens. But I don't want it back to the responsibilities. But I don't want to support it, even though they are. They don't. We're like lying is what is a blanket. It's kind of like that.
Well,
and it's
scary too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it can be scary because phones are so important to a business.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, that's what I used to do. I used to say, no, we don't do phones because you'd be scared of it. Because if you mess up their phones, then all of a sudden you're going to lose their MSP business. So once you start taking on stuff, that's what we did. We switched our own phones over, and I found out how easy it was. I'm like, okay, there's really no problem here.
Right.
And
no,
then
done right.
you don't. The other thing that was a kind of a hurdle is I still had that thought of I don't know phones. Like I don't know what SIP trunks is. I don't know what PRI and 24 voice channels. Like I didn't know what any of that was, so I was scared. And you really need to know it. You don't. Like, do you have internet? Okay, you're good. And like anything, like sure. There's instances where they need a fax or they have a elevator phone or something like that. But that's where OIT comes in because I'll just schedule time with an engineer or call somebody and be like, hey, they have a elevator phone. How do I do that? And they'll tell me how to do it. So that's a big advantage of having somebody like OIT where they can they have the people that know that stuff where I don't really know much of that or I didn't.
Well, it's nice to have them as a resource for you to be able to on.
Yeah, it's huge.
You can't be an expert in everything, unfortunately, Trevor. You probably are. But...
No.
Oh no, he's not. No,
I'm working on my beard expert. I got to get there.
I want to go back to that soft phone application that we were talking about at the beginning because I would love to get a response from you too, Sean. Have you guys seen as I want to call it, like a mass exodus of the desk phone, swapping from desk to mobile device with COVID hitting, everybody going to work from home? What did that look like for you guys on your end?
Oh, that was the answer is yes. You have COVID has been the catalyst for the almost. I know this will sound harsh. The almost death of on-prem solutions because they can't do all the things that you need them to do. The ability to have communications from everywhere and anywhere is vital. I mean, here I'm in an airport, right? I was here before making phone calls off my laptop. Like I got my desk phone. I also have my mobile app, so either or. Not to mention like Teams, knowing that Teams has become the fastest growing product in Microsoft history, basically, has been a key element to this as well. And hence we integrate with Teams. In that way, because again, we have to give the versatility and the ability for everybody to communicate from anywhere and everywhere. It's just the nature of the beast. And and go one step further. Once everybody went home from COVID, and companies are like, shit, how do we maintain progress? We have to keep production rolling, and there was no way of doing it. And and so you had people. I mean, I have partners of ours that said that their customers were downloading Google Voice to at least have something, to have some sort of phone number. Say they have to get their home phone number, their cell phone number, and that doesn't work well either. No. That's very much a bad idea. And so we saw a huge influx of this happen. I mean, immediately within, we figure everybody got the word at March time frame. By April to May to June, it was everywhere. And it just became a requirement. Actually, that's one of Trevor and my favorite conversation. He gets excited about this stuff. He's like, this app is so cool. Let me show you what I did. And then he starts nerding out. And
well, I've been looking for one that worked for so long. That was
Trevor, one thing too. I did have a presentation that I had to go through, which I'm no longer going to do because I don't want to now because we've talked so much about this. I'd rather just go into show your stuff. because I
Yeah.
think it's way more empowering and impactful for MSPs, because that way I'm not some sales guy just saying, look
Yeah,
how
I mean,
awesome
I can show the web phone. I don't know if I can. I guess I can just show the app on my phone if you want.
Well, how
What do
about
you
that?
want me to
And
do? How do you want me to do?
I'd like you to pull up the website or your the web
Yeah.
and share your screen on that. And also, I'd like to talk about. I mean, you and I had a very pointed conversation last week about all that. And by the way, Trevor gets extremely excited. So once we let him start going, he'll go.
Wow.
I
I like to talk. Sorry. I know I do get excited about VoIP just because, like I said, I make so much money off of it and I don't do anything. You almost feel bad about it. I mean, I don't, but some people might.
I don't. But that's the big, another like fallacy out there is like, well, I don't make enough money on VoIP to care
Woke
about
my dog up.
Well,
Sorry.
yeah, they always say I don't make enough money on VoIP to give it that kind of attention, right?
Yeah, well, you don't if you use some of those, click to call or whoever those, kind of other channel friendly, like, I mean, you make like $2 or $3 a seat. It's not worth it.
Right. Well, that's because you're not given you're still giving the responsibility to the vendor. And if you're going to give the responsibility to the vendor we have to pay for the resources to make sure we support the customer. And you're right, but that's kind of the biggest conversation you have to have with yourself. And this is conversations we have when we talk to potential partners and they're trying to determine between channel partner and white label, because we go through a process to determine this. I ask, is this going to be a passive income, or are you going to actively, proactively sell this? Because if you're passively looking for, you have a couple friends that need some phone service, then don't go white label, because it's an investment.
Right.
It is. It's an investment of your time.
You have to learn it. I mean, it's not a big learning curve, but you do have to learn. Just you have to get your system going and kind of your process. I will say, back to the phones, not just the soft phone, but one of the biggest advantages of a VoIP solution like OIT is, so you have your desk phone. Well, with the VoIP, you can take that desk phone wherever you want. You don't have to just have it in the office. So if all of a sudden COVID hits, everybody can pick up their phone and go home. Now, as long as you have the right phone, and there's lots of phones out there that aren't expensive, you can even have wireless with the phone. So if you have users that, like a lot of times you go home, your desk isn't by your router, your router's in your basement or something. Right. So if you have, there's Yealink phone. I always recommend Yealink phones.
Yeah.
If you have a, Yealink with they're not expensive. With a wireless, you can set it up wherever you want, and then you take it on the road. Because I mean, a lot of people are desk phone users, and I like desk phones sometimes. I mean, soft phones are great. I love them, but sometimes people they're just tied. They want the desk phone, and then. So that's the one piece, because you can take it wherever. And then the other piece is the soft phone. I mean, you can have your soft phone on your computer, and then the mobile app is huge. I mean, I have people that just use the mobile app. I mean, all the time. It's perfect.
I mean, the flexibility, like, you can't beat it. I've told Sean this story a million times, but I always use my dad as an example, because when I set his business up on VoIP about 7 years ago now, he thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. Like, Fred drove down to Mexico for a month and was like, just there, had his phone plugged in. Like, I didn't even know he was there. I was like, thanks for telling me. Where was my ticket? Like,
it's huge.
Sat there and then could sit on the beach and, nobody knew.
Right.
But I mean, that's he built himself a lifestyle business around being able to do that with VoIP. Which was fantastic.
My mother doesn't understand that I have two phone numbers on my phone. She doesn't get the app thing. She's like, I don't get that. She's 80 years old though, so it doesn't matter. She's like, I don't get that. Just leave it. Just get out of my face. That's weird. She calls it voodoo and stuff like that. So.
But definitely still those people who need the desk phone.
There's plenty of them. Yeah. But like I'm doing right now, I'm building a call center, 80 users. And they're all using the mobile app, the web app.
Wow.
So in the beginning, I advised against it. I'm like, you guys need desk phones. You're a call center. You need a desk phone. And, that's typical thinking, but it works great with a web phone. It's fine. And they were able to save all the money on desk phones. So think about 80 desk phones, you know, that's a bunch of money. And with the web phone, they don't have to pay for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, how does that work, Sean, with you guys? I know I've heard you guys throw out Yealink. I know you guys work with Snom. Are you guys a bring your own device type platform?
Absolutely. Yes. Again, back to being versatile in business, you have no choice but to, right? So we go one step further even. Bring your own device is perfectly fine, you know, as long as it's compatible. You can look it up and give all the resources to do so. Two, we also offer the ability, like, so for Trevor or any channel or white label partner, they can order phones directly through us. We'll provision, and we even discount the phones from the MSRP for them, so they can make some money off it on their customers. Or if they don't want to work with us, if they don't have a distributor, we'll introduce them directly to our distributors. We're very flexible about it. At the end of the day, the goal for us is the least amount of friction as possible and get them in production. Because selfish motivation, he's saying, if I get Trevor all his stuff now, he's gonna go somewhere and make more money for me anyway. So we're not gonna argue over pennies when there's way too many dollars out there to take. Yeah, and I'll tell you, even going back to the desk phone, I was a desk phone user forever, and I haven't had a desk phone now I make a joke to everybody I talk to. They think I'm lying. I'm like, where my desk phone used to be is my coffee heater, you know. Yeah. So I think I like dead serious. I don't use it. I use, like I said, I've made 5 phone calls before getting on this call, sitting here having my drinks, and it's funny because
we got a question. We got a great question, Sean. Let me answer this. Can I answer this question?
Well, how about we put it up on the screen?
Cameron.
Can you put it on the screen?
Can you put it on the screen?
It's not popping up.
I can read it.
Comments,
basically, he wants to know the difference between OITVOIP and SkySwitch.
Great
so
question.
I'm still with SkySwitch, and SkySwitch is the reason I switched to OIT. I've been with SkySwitch maybe 7-8 years. I mean, they were where I learned VoIP from. They were where I first came, and SkySwitch changed. I think they got bought out like maybe a year ago. Their support is offshore. Everything's different. And they don't offer the snap solution. So that's what I was talking about earlier. So with SkySwitch, I'm sure you're gonna laugh when I say this. Reach UC is their soft phone, and it's probably the worst soft phone I've ever used. It doesn't work, and what's really bad is it won't work in a call center. So if you use queues or any call center stuff, it won't work. So with that, SkySwitch just didn't have the snap solution. So, and when I say the snap solution, I mean Snap Mobile Web, the soft phone app that ties in to the system. So, you know, with SkySwitch, they'll recommend, hey, use Bria or use Zoiper, which are really good soft phone apps, but they don't tie into the system. So you're not going to get your contacts. You're not going to get your presence. You're not going to be able to, like, if you like to chat within the, you know, any of the UCaaS, like the unified communication stuff.
Yeah.
So with, you know, that's why I moved from SkySwitch. They were okay, but their support went downhill. Their pricing, they kind of nickel and dime you on everything. Everything's an add-on. But I mean, they were fine for a long time. But the biggest thing was the snap part. And they would never give me an answer why they didn't offer it. But yeah, like I think it's like last year, 6 months, they've gone way downhill. And you know, sometimes as an MSP that happens, right? I mean, you see it.
No, you see it. And I think, you know, for a lot of people, the ability just to be able to pick up that phone, no matter where they are, airport, you know, Disneyland, maybe that's probably where I would be. Like having the ability to say, no problem, I can transfer you to that person right now. Not like, oh, let me have them call you. I have to do a chat. I have to do an email, right? Because it all perfectly ties in and back to itself. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sean, but that was a find me, follow me type feature, if I believe that to be correct. Okay.
Yes. Look at you. I'm just going to get off the call. You guys can just handle this.
Oh, so yeah, I mean, I really liked that because yeah, I could be really anywhere in the world, like, and it work, and I can transfer you to who you need to be transferred to. I don't need to make
Yep.
another phone call, like really do anything else. And I mean, do you have that on the computer, Trevor, that you could show?
What piece is that?
So how about you take us onto your
Yeah, sure.
web interface phone.
Go ahead.
Cell phone.
All right, what do I have to do? Share?
Share screen. Yep.
Share screen. I got it. All right. I hope I don't share all my screens. Let me close all my private stuff. I don't know
Oh
what
my lord.
screen I'm sharing. I got like 6 over here.
I mean, you did know you were doing this today, right? I think we were aware of it.
I did.
Right? Okay, I just didn't know if you.
I just, StreamYard is newer to me.
It's the same concept as
Yeah,
Teams and Zoom and Join Me.
I got it. Thanks. I got you.
WebEx
I got you.
and GoToMeeting and basically anything else you want me to bring up?
Nope, we're good. Okay.
Like effects.
What
can you guys see my screen now?
Nope.
Bring it up.
Yes. Now we can.
Web conferencing tool inside of OIT, or do you integrate with one that is existing today?
Both. So we do have a web conferencing system called Snap HD. We just released it just some months back. And then the other side of it is like as I mentioned, we do integration with Teams itself, Microsoft Teams. So yeah, it's
the Teams piece is really, you should talk about that. That's huge.
That's a great idea, Trevor. I think I will when you're done. How about that?
Okay, sorry.
No, go ahead. You go. No,
okay. All right.
It's not you. It's me.
No, you.
No, me.
All right. So I will. So this is actually one of our domain accounts, and basically, so when you come in here, this is going to be how you can add your users. You're going to see all your users here. For the phone, when you're in the system, you have this option up here, and this is the Snap Mobile Web. This is my web phone. Now you're going to see I have my contacts. I have voicemail. Actually, you know what? I am in my reseller account. So let me do this. A big feature is masquerade. You can always masquerade as a user. So if you ever need to act as that user and see what they're doing, it's really, really powerful tool. So here's my call center. I'm going to click apps now, and I'm going to go to my Snap Web Mobile.
Okay.
This takes a second because I have like 3 of them open.
So and let's back up for a second, just so everybody understands where Trevor started. That's the manager portal. Every single time you create a customer as a partner, as a white label partner, there's going to be something that's created the manager portal for them. You can they can have access to it as well to do all the simple things like if they need to change their auto attendant or they want to add change the user information. Whatever it is they can do, so business hours, whatever. That's the thing. And then they also immediately, as he's showing you, gives you access to hop into Snap Mobile, which is now he's going into the soft phone.
So here's the soft phone. Real simple contacts. If I want to call this person, I'm going to click the call. If I want to dial a different number, I can just hit the keypad and I can dial. Here's your voicemails. You're going to see voicemails. They get transcribed.
That's great.
You have your call history. I was doing some audio monitoring. This is for if you ever want to listen in on calls and barge and whisper for training. It also has chat, which is really cool. So if you have
that's a great
like a DID, where you don't want people have to text, right? And you don't want them texting your cell phone. So you can have them text your DID. I have clients that use this that they love it because I actually have a client that they are an immigration lawyer and they have lots of people that can't talk on the phone or they're in other countries, but they can text. So they have text signed up and they can get all their text right here. Another cool feature with this Snap Mobile is since it runs on Chrome, I'm sure you guys are aware of this, but any Chrome website you can turn into an app. So basically, I have it right here. It's just an app. I just click and here's my Snap phone. So I don't have to go into the portal. That is pretty, I think you guys, I mean, if you don't know how to do it, it just search Chrome, make a website into an app. So basically that turns it into, so I just click here. So now I have my phone. I don't have to log into the portal.
That's cool. And is this the same one that goes on to your cell phone as well, Trevor?
Yeah, and it's exactly the same. So it's really powerful. I actually have a, let me see, I'm doing training for a client right now, so I can actually show this. This is my little training doc, and you'll see, you know, here's the web phone and kind of directions on how to make it a shortcut. And then when you go to iOS, this is what you do with Snap Mobile. You just click, you know, download Snap Mobile. You're going to use this host ID might be different. I'm not sure, Sean, I think it might be different per white label, but I'm not sure. So then you log in and they're exactly the same. So, you know, you can make calls. What's really cool is down here is when you're on a call, you can do transfers, blind transfer. When you're on a call, you have all these options. So transfer, you can do a conference call. I really like this switch phone one. So if say you're on your computer on the web phone, you can click this switch phone and you can move the call right to your mobile app. So if you need to leave, or even if you're on your desk phone, you can do the same thing. You can move it.
Yeah.
Really powerful. Just chat, SMS, you know, same kind of stuff. With your voicemail, you have all the features. You know, it's transcribed. You can forward. It's huge. It's and it's all built in. You don't have to install anything. I've rolled out systems where I will send them a doc, like that doc right there, and basically they're up and running. I don't have to get on each machine and download Bria and set up Bria and add the SIP server, any of that stuff. They log in, they get their welcome email.
Yeah.
You know, you just you're like right here, I'm going to end this masquerade.
That's like a lot of time savings.
Oh, it's huge. So like, you know, here's myself.
Anything anymore.
If I would just go right here and I would just say, send welcome email. I'll send a welcome email. They'll get an email. They click the link, set up their password, and they log in and they have everything. This isn't really related to the phone, but I just want to show this because this is so cool.
What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you?
I'm sorry. I was going to
No, go.
But this Snap, it's called Snap Analytics, and it's part of the Snap solution, they call it.
Okay.
So here I'm in my call center, right? If I click this Snap Analytics, you have these custom wall boards you can make. So, you know, I have 4 calls handled today, average talk time, last 2 weeks. Here's my agents that are available and online. You can make other boards. It's really powerful. So I have, like with my call center,
for
go
Trevor.
ahead.
So to clarify this, the call centers using this, but you're also able to use this internally to monitor your clients.
Yep. You can see all your calls and everything. So it's part of the whole Snap solution piece. Just like really good reporting, because I have some clients that are just love reports. They love meetings too. They have meetings about meetings and reports about reports. So it's fun. But you know, here's a good one, like average handling time. You know, it'll show red, like why is my tech taking 11 minutes to work a support call? You know, abandonment rate. So yeah, that's call center stuff. It's kind of off base, but I will show, and I can show the mobile app is exactly the same. It's just on your phone.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty powerful, and that's the piece I like the best, was the whole the Snap stuff.
That's the piece. What about me?
No, not so much. I mean, you know, once you sold it to me, this is the second time I've talked to you since then.
That's because I have to avoid your
Just
calls.
kidding. Sean calls me all the time.
Well, what would he do on his regular day if I didn't call?
That's right.
You know,
I mean, is
we
there
work on
anything else you
PowerPoint.
want me to show on here, or it's such an easy system.
Yeah.
The flow is so cool because the way you build a system is you have your phone numbers and you just go in, you edit it, and okay, my treatment, I'm going to send it to a user. I'm going to send it to me. That's it. Here's my main number. I do call time of day. So if it's during my business hours, it goes here.
We're watching you do this live real time. So this
It's
is
easy.
as easy as it is.
It is. Yep.
Oh,
make your business hours. That's it.
3 hours to, deploy an entire system. Nope. It's really as easy as coming here and doing exactly what we just watched.
You could set up a small office in probably 10 minutes tops.
Wow.
And what else you can do, Sean, it's cool, is caller ID masking. So if you have a client that has an on-premise system and you're doing a port, if you guys aren't familiar with ports, you never know when they're going to happen. And trying to time your rollover to a port is almost impossible. So what you do is you forward numbers from the on-premise system to some temp numbers, and then you can do this caller ID masking. So you can actually add your customer's number into the system and then assign it as a caller ID. So right here, you'll see this number is still at SkySwitch 0605. So I'm forwarding from SkySwitch, and then in my user, I have this caller ID masking. So, and that takes like a minute. So it's huge. You can set up a client and not have to worry about the port. So
that's awesome.
It's really cool.
That is really cool because you never know. Are we going to port in 1 day, 5 days? Or we're going to wait till.
Is it going to get denied? The port's going to get denied, and then all of a sudden you have to change everything. Yeah.
Right. It's like, oop, done. It doesn't matter. It takes place. It just goes to the new numbers.
And this is stuff that OIT helped me with. Like, I didn't know about this caller ID masking. I didn't know a lot of things when I was with SkySwitch, and it was, I was talking about a port, and one of the guys just said, "Hey, you don't have to worry about that. Just use caller ID masking." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he showed me. That's great.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. And I think that along with, the mobile app that you were just showing with people being able to ask their personal cell phone numbers, so we're not, giving that out all over the place. It all kind of goes into one number, but everywhere, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's huge. It everything, all your phone, you can have your phones ring depending on how you want it to roll over. That follow me stuff you can do. I don't really do a lot of the follow me anymore because you don't need to follow me. I have my mobile app. It's just going to ring. It's like before it used to be, ring my desk phone. If I don't answer my desk phone, follow to me a cell phone. You don't need to do it anymore.
Right.
So, some people do, but.
Some people, Some people still do. So each their own.
All right. You want to see anything else?
I don't know. Every time you say that,
build a system real quick.
Yeah, you know what? No, you know what? Actually, something you had talked about, Trevor, and I'm not going to talk about other vendors because we don't do that, but you went through a very rigorous selection process of vetting out.
Yeah, huge.
Well,
the reason why I did that, so you can continue, so your story makes sense, is and the person that asked about SkySwitch is probably going to understand this, because SkySwitch told me something I could do, and it turned out I couldn't do it. And that was, I built this whole call center with 80 plus users, and I had Bria. They had Bria. Well, they couldn't see presence. So I was like under the gun. I've been working on a system for 6 months, and I needed to move. Like, I needed to find something. And that's when I found Snap Solution. And it made sense because it's OIT is, you can see it's built on the same system SkySwitch and some of the other ones are built on. And when I came over, that's where I got over to OIT, because they had to Snap, and it saved me. But yeah, I went through, and Sean will say it, I was kind of a pain in the ass because I couldn't screw up again. Like, my client was waiting. I was like, all right, this is on hold, give me a week. And, sure enough, I tried them all. Anybody that sells Netsapiens, I did a demo with. Any of them, all of them. There's probably like 10 out there, and I demoed all of them.
Wow.
And there are some good ones, but OIT, like I said, the MSP and the support was like at least 5 times better than the next person.
And then there's me too, and that's
Yeah.
the difference maker.
Yeah. That was the one holdup. I was like, oh.
Oh, I don't know.
That's not even true. You know what? And for everybody, just after this webinar, I'm going to send out all the conversations that Trevor and I had email wise, so you can see exactly how it went down, coming out publicly.
No, but support's like a really big thing, right? Because if you submit a support ticket, you think about, okay, I have Gary, he's out on site, right? He's trying to like fix the printer, the phone, whatever else. If you're waiting for a call back from VoIP, like it doesn't look good to have Gary sitting on the side on the phone waiting for a call back, right? That's not a good look for your company. Things like that. And being able to fast and think on their feet and be able to provide solutions that work is a huge thing.
Another big thing that OIT has is the white label partners, and I still have a desk phone. All their that was actually a Polycom. Don't ever get Polycom. They're so hard to troubleshoot remotely. They are. But I don't even know what I was saying before. They have a huge like partner Discord channel, and you can bounce ideas off of people. I'm on Discord all the time. You know, Ray gets sick of me. You can tell. But I'm building systems at night because I work during the day and I'll usually program at night. So 10:30 at night, you know, I'll ask a question. Hey, you know, can a call queue do this? And sure enough, there's somebody there. Yeah, you can do that. Or most of the time it's Ray. You know, I don't think he sleeps. And, you know, Ray's the CEO of the company, right?
Yeah.
And he's all over it. So
he loves this. He loves nerding out. He'd prefer to have that conversation any day of the week.
Well, I think that's that's one of the big things. Like as an MSP, sometimes you kind of feel like you're on an island because you have to like figure stuff out on your own. And you're like, especially with small businesses, it's not like the corporate world where you have this set thing. You're like, you have to be this guy and be this guy and do all this stuff. So when you have, you know, a community that you can bounce stuff off of, you know, it's good. Like I kind of compare it to like how ConnectWise used to be. Because I still use ConnectWise, but they used to have this forum and like, you know, IT Nation. It was awesome. Like you could go down there and talk to people and you'd be like, oh, you're using that AV? Oh, that's awesome. So that's another really cool piece about OIT is they put their white label partners and their channel partners together, give them an area to talk and bounce ideas off of.
That's huge. I mean, you said like even when COVID hitting, you can't go to the shows anymore and just bump all the questions. You have to, you know, another great way to do that. And you know, I think that's really great that you guys do that.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's actually really nice.
The Teams integration, because I've had quite a few people ask me about that. Like we use Teams here at Figure MSP. Where completely all of us are remote, and some of us are in the same states and cities, but we all work out of our homes. So that's how we communicate, like all day, every day. And I see that for a lot of other companies, especially now, right? Slack, Teams, different channels like that. Let's talk about your Teams integration.
Sure. And I'm actually trying to pull it up, but my Wi-Fi here is very, very bad. I'm noticing I can't even do it. I was hoping to show you guys, but I can talk through it. So a couple of things. For one, when everybody started doing the work from remote, we started to make the migration over. We were already doing it. So when a year and a half ago, January of last year, let's just say, we were in a position where we were using Slack and Zoom, like a lot of companies. We had 365 licensing, obviously, and we were using Outlook, and we were using SharePoint, and all the regular things that you usually use. So we made a conscious decision as a business that we were going to start to try to consolidate. So we made the move to work through Teams. Slack, we're still in Slack groups, of course, but internally as a company, we are not using Slack. We are not using Zoom. We use Teams for everything we do now, as far as all of our meetings with our partners and whatnot. We also at that point made a decision that we were going to do the migration to give the ability that we can actually dial from Teams as well, because Teams has a pretty nice dialer. Their dial pad's easy, it's simple to use, and we wanted our guys being able to work from one place. And so half of our company migrated relatively quickly into this, a lot of our tech guys, so that way they could basically beat the hell out of it, make sure it was good before Because if I get it and something goes wrong, I'm a sales guy. I'm dumb. I'm a dumb sales guy, and God knows what'll happen. But so we started doing this, and not only do we integrate to be able to make dials, even like you go in the dial pad, it's Teams dial pad and OITVOIP VoIP. That way they get every feature that they need. With the same ease of use how Trevor just did his setup, same thing applies in this case too. We also put the web client right into the Teams interface. So you can actually click on that web interface app, and it's going to take you right into that manager portal that he showed and do all the same things. You can still see the presence of the people that work in the company. Everything he showed you is right there in Teams instead. It's very, very effective. As a matter of fact, I saw 2 white label partners sign with us over the last 2 months just because they knew the Teams integration existed, and we showed, and they're like, yeah, that's where we are. The big takeaway again is, like, even me, I have Teams. So when I'm on my phone here, I have my Snap mobile app, just like Trevor that uses. I also have the Teams app. So if my phone rings, I can shut one off if I want. So only one will ring, but I always have access. It becomes more of a preference. I keep both. I don't recommend everybody does, but I do because that way I can talk to the partners about it. That I'm like, yeah, I'm using it. I know it works. We're good. And even on my laptop too, I know it works. I can talk to it. It gives you all the same flexibility. You can actually even click the video on there and call internally to your employees, your coworkers, everything. It's all in there. It's simple. And you don't lose, it doesn't change the look and feel of Teams either. That way you're not tooling this and training people how to look at a new environment or new UI.
Right.
But, yeah, it's exactly this. It's exactly the same. Like when a lot of people use Teams to just call people already, like a Teams call.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. That's the same way you call somebody. You get the dialer. I don't have it right now. I was going to show you. I was going to see if I had it, but I'm
trying so hard.
It's
my Teams is spinning and spinning.
It's pretty cool. I mean, Teams is an awesome soft phone. Like, I don't use it right now, but I did use it, and it was flawless. I mean, like you said, your mobile app rings, your desk rings. It's really powerful. It has like headset. You can have, your speakers ring. You pick up. It's really like the thing about Microsoft. They're so compatible with everybody. So when you get a headset and you pick up your headset, it's going to answer the call. You click the mute button. Most of those are all going to work with the Teams soft phone. Where some, other phones, or other soft phone clients, they don't work as good. But Teams is huge. That is a big seller.
We love it. We've done very well with it. Like I said, our internal tech team has been using it. We all use it now as a company. We use both, a lot of us. And transferring calls, accepting calls, everything has not been any challenges for any of us. You can do all the same stuff.
It's the same thing like you were saying with Snap Mobile. What's cool is everybody already knows Teams. All your users already know Teams, so there's no training. There's basically, hey, you're gonna have a dial pad now. If you need to call somebody outside, you use a dial pad, and it's already there. You don't have to install. That's the biggest thing. There's nothing to install or set up on the client end. On the back end, you have to do some stuff, but it is pretty easy. You have to map some stuff, but
Right.
Yeah, the not touching computers is amazing. It really is. I mean, it's like, all right, here's your phone. Go ahead.
I mean, and so that we're not completely bashing hardware phones, because we've not really been.
No, I love it.
Hardware phones are great. Oh no, but we haven't been very nice to them, so that's okay.
We can be. We'll start. I can be really nice to them.
No, that's okay. You complained about Polly just now, but we don't represent. Trevor does not represent the thoughts and processes of OITVOIP.
I like them when they're set up. I just don't like troubleshooting them.
But that's one last thing here about that. Even if they are using desk phones, and you have to support and provide desk phones for a customer, drop shipping occurs now. It is a touchless implementation and onboarding. You don't even take away, if there's no soft phone involved, no mobile app involved, and they just want a desk phone, fine. The provisioning will take care of the setup and everything and shipping it to them. It almost, Ray hates the term plug and play, but it almost essentially is a plug and play. But he'll tell me don't say that because he doesn't always say. I'm like, but it is. I can geek out on desk phones too, man. Trust me. Just like Trevor's comment that you like the easy bake oven, set and forget kind of thing. We're like an infomercial. So,
No, desk phones, like I really actually prefer desk phones. I always say desk phones. I'm old school, but the thing with desk phones, like I like, is it's its own separate device. So if your computer is, running some video editing software or doing whatever, you might have some sound quality issues. With a desk phone, it's isolated. So whenever I have like this call center I was doing with 80 users, I begged them to use desk phones, but they wouldn't do it. So, I mean, they know that they might have some issues with, some of the quality here or there. It's like this meeting we're doing here. It's on your computer. So there's going to be some, some lag. Where a desk phone, it always works. It's perfect. And like I was saying, I don't hate Polycoms. They're just harder to set up, and they're a bigger, like Yealink is like the fun company. They're like, they're just easy. They give you a website where you can actually go to and you put your MAC addresses in and you set your OIT configuration. And so whenever that phone gets plugged in, it'll pull down the configuration for you. You don't have to go into the phone and set it up. So that's what Sean's kind of talking about with zero touch. They actually can do that for you. Like Sean, I'm sure Sean, I haven't ordered phones directly from him, but I do it from my distributor. And I order the phone. They give me the MAC address before they ship it. I take that MAC address, I put it under my user, and because of Yealink, they have this website. It sets everything up for you. So as soon as they plug in their phone, it's configured, done. Desk phones are simple too. It's the reason I always recommend Yealink is because with Yealink, you can sign up for their website within like 5 minutes. It's no problem. Polycom, you got to become a partner. You got to fill out a credit app. You got to give a blood sample. I still haven't. I quit. I stopped doing it after like 2 weeks. I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I don't want to be a partner. But they are good phones. Polycoms are really good phones. But
thanks, Trevor, for clarifying that.
The automatic stuff is, I like easy, man. I like easy.
Yes.
I like
it's
easy.
funny you like easy, but nothing in dealing with you was easy. So I don't understand that.
Hey, man, it's all right. You still put me on this call for some reason.
I don't know why.
Trevor, more specifically, to any MSPs out there today that are maybe sitting in a partner program similar to some that you have mentioned, what would be your biggest advice to them as to why they should at least even take a look at a white label type solution like OIT has?
Branding, stickiness. Nobody wants to change their phones, right? So once you get them in the phones, it's like I said, you're not going to have any issues where it's like, as an MSP, sometimes you can do a rollout with computers and all of a sudden like something goes wrong and you look bad and stuff like that. With phones, it never happens. Like I've never had any phones that are like, oh my God, that was a horrible rollout. They work. So, as switching to a white label, I like branding. I like my logo on everything. I'm sure you saw it when I showed the portal. It's got my logo. When they go to the portal, they see my logo. All my emails for voicemails have my logo. The white label program is the money you can make off of what you pay for the seat and what you charge for the seat is awesome. It's more than any other product I sell. Like any AV, I mean, besides like a managed service for a support, but like, AV, anything, any of the tools that we're always trying to get sticky and add more products to a security stack and all that stuff. Nothing beats VoIP. It's insane the amount of money you can make. So that, and like I said, the white label is great because I just like to have my name on stuff. I don't want to send somebody to Nextiva or to Ring Central. And then on top of that, you're still supporting it. So if you're at Ring Central or whoever you're at and you're making $4 or $3, whatever it is, even though they say they're supporting it, when your client calls Ring Central and they're on hold for 15 minutes, they're mad at you. They're not mad at Ring Central. Ring Central could care less. So when you recommend something, I like to recommend myself instead of somebody else. Like, hey, I'll do it for you. And like I said, it's so easy. Once you like the VoIP, I used to be scared of it because it was like, all those terms and like, how am I going to do this? It's a computer system. If you can set up, AV rules and you can whitelist at your spam provider, you can do a phone system, especially with the onboarding. That was another piece. Like I went back and forth with Sean. I'm like, I don't want the onboarding. I'm not doing the onboarding, dude. I've been using this system for 8 years. I'm not doing the onboarding. He still made me do it. And I learned something. But what I learned is I made my my techs do it too. And what I learned was like their onboarding is really, really, really good. They have like 1, 2, and 3 that they make you do. They onboard sales, they onboard billing, porting. So a lot of the stuff that I just figured out on my own, once I went through the training, I was like, oh, that'll save me a lot of time. Like, oh, I didn't know I could do it that way. Like I used to use like these routing users and stuff, and I went through training. I probably saved myself 10 minutes in programming with time of day routing. So their onboarding is phenomenal. So there's, like I said, you can have nothing to do with phones, sign up for them, do the onboarding, and set up a system really easy.
I'll throw the link.
And they'll help you. And they'll help you with it. I mean, if you have any, they'll build a system. They will do it for you. They want you to sell. And what was crazy too is they actually, I think in your white label, they actually, if you get so big, which I hope to do one day, they will help you move direct, like with Netsapiens, right, Sean? Or is that a secret? Was I not supposed to say that?
Secret.
You started off the conversation with it, so I think we're past that point. No, we don't.
No,
we don't hide any. We don't hide anything. We're very transparent. So it just, I mean, they run on Netsapiens, but like in order to go with Netsapiens, it's not feasible for anybody. It's like a 6-figure investment. So with what and I don't really want to go with them because then you don't have anybody to ask. So once you look at the white label, once you look at the white label pricing and stuff, you're like, this is a no-brainer. It's so. You're saying you need Sean in your life. If not,
no, Ray maybe. I don't know about Sean.
Yeah, Ray. That's the good Star Wars stuff.
Okay, Sean. All right, fine.
No.
I need you when I go to Pittsburgh for hockey tournaments. I need somewhere to stay.
Which you didn't even show up for that. Thanks for nothing. Anyway,
COVID. I didn't know you then, man.
Whatever, dude. Whatever. It's fine. Whatever.
So we threw up the link here. So if anybody watching now or after the fact, this is the link where you can go check out the partner programs and what they look like at OIT. You can even sign up for a call with someone over at OIT that can give you, or Sean directly, that's going to give you any and all details that you might need. And with that, Sean, is there any little pieces of advice that you would like to leave us with today?
Get a friend like Trevor in your life. He makes things so much more impactful, and he completes me. Other than that, though, no. For all you guys, for all the MSPs out there, we know that it's difficult to sell your services at times. You're looking to be holistic. I'm not saying you go with us, but find a provider you do want to work with in general. VoIP is an easy thing to do. Trevor already has stated specifically that phones are a commodity. Everything else is not. So you must use it to your advantage. So again, whether you're with us or you're with anybody else, doesn't matter. Pick somebody. Just say you're holistic. You don't lose your business to other businesses. And if you have questions, don't hesitate. I mean, you can find us on social media between Reddit, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Take your pick. We're everywhere. We all are. Ask away. We're more than happy to answer questions. But do yourself a favor. At least look into it for yourself if you don't already offer today.
Awesome.
And don't book meetings with me until next week because I'm leaving for Mexico. I will not be able to take meetings. Okay. Matt Connolly is free whenever you want to talk to him.
Or Matt, yes. So
Matt is free. He's home.
No relation to me.
Oh. I know. I was like, is maybe.
No, he said Trevor.
I'm not related.
He said Trevor spelled his last name wrong. He said he spelled his last name wrong.
They changed it when we came over. I'm trying to get it back.
I don't know.
They spelled it wrong.
Dude, I don't know.
Ellis Island, man.
Whatever excuse you have is fine.
Whatever. It's okay.
Well, with that, Trevor, thank you so much for
no problem.
Talking about your experience with VoIP and OIT. And Sean, as always, great to chat with you. And I appreciate you both. Sean, have a great time in Mexico. And
thank you.
We will all talk to you guys later. Have a great rest of your week.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye all.